Chapter 2455, I only recognize you, 1. Yet Fushi's tone suddenly grew profound, as if even the mist rising from the hot spring had frozen for an instant. However, I don't have absolute certainty. That youngster named Zhang Yi, his destiny ahead, I can only see a sea of chaos. It's a fog even I cannot peer through. This indicates he lies outside the cycle of destiny. White Dragon froze, staring at Zhang Yi in disbelief. Outside destiny? Does that mean even the creator cannot control him? White Dragon suddenly recalled Zhang Yi's earlier claim that he was a reborn being. White Dragon had dismissed it at first. Resurrection after death, nothing particularly extraordinary. After all, sentient beings often experience hallucinations at the brink of death, only to awaken with supernatural abilities. That too could be called rebirth. But to reverse time itself, to be reborn at another point along the timeline, that was extraordinary. Fushi closed his eyes, his voice growing hushed, perhaps. That is precisely fate's cruelty. Those beyond destiny are either the key to salvation or the beginning of ruin. I cannot fathom his destiny. Therefore, he might just create a miracle. White Dragon fell silent. Fushi's ability was immortality. True to his words, beyond living an extraordinarily long life, he possessed no other special powers. Yet, if a life truly endured 200 million years, even a simple paramecium would evolve beyond imagination. Thus, Fushi created what humans called the 8 trigrams, decoder to decipher the universe's laws. His eyes could peer through the river of fate, seeing past and future. Fushi had clearly approached the level of Kagago, the creator of the physical world. Kagago created code, Fushi understood it. The individuals he couldn't see through were also loopholes within Kagago's program, entities akin to the Drucker, or even more troublesome. White Dragon's expression shifted slightly. He lowered his head, the light in his eyes flickering uncertainly. After a long pause, he drew a deep breath and said to Fushi in a solemn voice, I understand. Within my capabilities, I will attempt to cultivate this 6th generation. Not long after, Zhang Yi and the others followed the Black Dragon Yuan Jing out of the Dragon Clan's sacred land. They traversed towering mountain ranges, gradually returning to the outside world. Yuan Jing spoke softly beside him, his tone carrying a hint of subtle meaning. You are fortunate to have secured the promise of the venerable ancestor Fushi. Henceforth, should you encounter any calamity or face insurmountable hardship, you may seek refuge with the Dragon Clan. We shall protect you and offer you a glimmer of hope. Hearing this, Zhang Yi exhaled in relief, his heart swelling with gratitude and awe. To receive the Dragon Clan's protection was indeed a tremendous assurance. Yet, many questions remained, particularly about the Dragon Clan's way of life and their culture. He couldn't help but ask Yuan Jing, why haven't we encountered any other Dragon Clan members along the way? I thought the Dragon Clan was a vast race. How come it's so quiet? Yuan Jing glanced at him, her tone calm. The Dragon Clan is an immortal race. Our lifespans span thousands of years. Therefore, we favor stillness over movement. These mountains and caves you see are where the Dragon Clan has dwelled for generations. Unlike humans, we don't gather in noisy crowds. We focus on inner cultivation, immersed in the vastness of time. He paused before adding, you may consider this space the Dragon Clan's utopia. Free from interference by other races, we seldom venture out. Zhang Yi nodded. Though he didn't fully grasp it, he sensed the solemnity and pride in Yuan Jing's words. The Dragon Clan truly was a being unlike humans, silent, ancient, and profound. Guided by Yuan Jing, they gradually returned to the underground world beneath the Qinling Mountains. Looking back, everything in the Dragon Realm seemed shrouded in mystery and depth. Zhang Yi's heart brimmed with anticipation yet held a thread of nervousness. The path ahead might be fraught with challenges. But regardless, having gained the Dragon Clan's protection, their future days would at least carry more security, sparing them from constant trepidation. The feeling of having a powerful ally to lean on was quite satisfying. After returning from the Dragon Realm, Zhang Yi, Yang Xinxin, and Guan Longyue found their perspectives profoundly altered. Their encounter with Fu Shi had not only revealed glimpses of a higher civilization's truths but also made Zhang Yi acutely aware of one thing: Huashu Kingdom must grow powerful at the fastest possible pace. Though the Dragon Clan pledged aid, Fu Shi's words about the final destiny still echoed in their ears. That sense of inevitable doom made Zhang Yi understand that no external force could be relied upon. Only by making the entire Huashu Kingdom strong enough to defend itself against the Drucker's attacks would there be a glimmer of hope. The Black Dragon disliked staying with the Dragon Clan. His restless nature had driven him to the land world 500 years ago. Thus, he returned to Xinjing alongside Guan Longyue. As they parted, Guan Longyue inquired about Zhang Yi's next plans. Zhang Yi looked at her and spoke slowly. Upon returning, convene a high-level meeting of Huashu Kingdom immediately. Summon all top combat forces and the supreme commanders of the 6 major regions. We must plan for the future. Guan Longyue nodded, understood. This was a matter of utmost gravity. As a unified nation, Huashu Kingdom should indeed keep no secrets. The two parted ways above the Qinling Mountains, agreeing to immediately contact all parties and convene the meeting upon their return. Zhang Yi brought Yang Xinxin back to Tianhai City. During the journey, he casually remarked to Yang Xinxin, "What do you think about me being a reborn individual?" Thoughts? Yang Xinxin smiled at Zhang Yi. "I just want to know, when exactly did you reincarnate?" She tilted her head, her eyes brimming with curiosity. "Because ever since I've known you, I haven't seen any uncanny foresight abilities in you." Zhang Yi didn't respond at first. He sighed and rubbed his nose. He had met Yang Xinxin several months into the apocalypse. "I reincarnated back 1 month after the apocalypse began. I didn't tell you earlier because my powers weren't strong enough then. I feared being captured for human experimentation. Later, as more and more mutants appeared in this world, all kinds of bizarre individuals, I figured reincarnation wasn't that outlandish anymore. So I just didn't bother mentioning it." Yang Xinxin gazed at Zhang Yi with tender eyes, her obsidian irises rippling with gentle waves. "To me, you're always my brother. Whether you're a reborn soul or some kind of time traveler doesn't matter. You're the only one I recognize." Chapter 2456, I only recognize you, too. After hearing Yang Xinxin's words, Zhang Yi gave a faint smile. Indeed, who they were in the past didn't matter. What mattered was that they remained the same people they had been when they first met, family who had journeyed together all this time. "Let's go. We've encountered multiple advanced civilizations recently and absorbed an overwhelming amount of knowledge. It's time to share this information. We can't shield the 6 major regions' people forever. They need to put in the effort and elevate themselves." Zhang Yi and Yang Xinxin quickly returned to Tianhai City. From their living room, they directly contacted the high-ranking officials of each region and initiated an online conference. This meeting utilized the most advanced global communication system. Virtual projections of every leader materialized within Zhang Yi's living room. The air grew thick, the atmosphere solemn. The leaders of Huashu Kingdom understood Zhang Yi's nature. He was a lazy man who detested tedious meetings. Therefore, when he initiated a gathering, it signaled something significant had occurred. No one dared delay, though apprehension lingered in their hearts. At this moment, the leaders and strongest combatants from all 6 major regions were present. The Xinjing region was represented by Guan Longyue, who chaired the meeting, seated between Shang Daowen and Supreme Commander Meng Yuanjun. Representing the Northeast region was Luya Dao Lord, Han Shanzhua. His hair remained neatly cropped short, plastered to his scalp like a gourd. Dressed in a sleek, shiny leather jacket, he crossed his arms over his chest, his expression solemn and deep. Beside him, the Northeast region's Supreme Commander Ji Changhai sat as steady as a mountain. The newly appointed commander of the Northwest region, Xiao Liu. From the Southwest region, the brothers Zhugo and Luozhua sat side by side. Identical in appearance, one bore a serene countenance while the other carried a hint of shrewdness in his eyes. Li Guangxiao of the East Sea region sat commanding at the helm of a massive warship, flanked by the projections of the Black Tortoise and Vermilion Bird. Two mutants stood behind him, their imposing presence commanding attention. Zhu Jing of the Jiangnan region wore a stern expression, while the Nuba, also known as Zhu Yu beside him, leaned lazily against the chair. The newly promoted Epsilon Tier Zhu Rong, Tu Yunlai, bent over his terminal, his entire being flickering like a blazing flame. This meeting gathered the most powerful figures in all of Huashu Kingdom, both in combat prowess and political influence. Following the Great War against the Wulwan Empire, Huashu Kingdom's national strength had surged to terrifying heights. Amidst this super-luxurious lineup, every gaze converged on a single person. All were awaiting Zhang Yi's address, the reason for today's gathering. Zhang Yi appeared on the central projection screen. Having returned home, he had shed his outer garments, now clad only in form-fitting black combat attire. Unlike the others, his attire was relaxed and casual. Yang Xinxin, dressed in a black gown, sat beside him. Yet no one dared to blame the formality of their attire. Zhang Yi surveyed the room with an expression of profound calm, yet his gaze carried an intensity that was almost impossible to meet directly. "Ladies and gentlemen." His voice was deep, resonating with a power that pierced the soul. "From this day forward, we enter the era of true preparation for battle." He paused, then shifted his tone. "I have learned certain truths about the future from Fuxi, the ancient ancestor of the Qinling Mountain Dragon clan." At that moment, the leaders of the 6 major regions almost instinctively held their breath. Even Han Shanzhua, usually the most arrogant, composed his expression and sat up straight. "Fuxi? Isn't that the title of the mythical human emperor?" Someone murmured softly, but did not interrupt Zhang Yi. Zhang Yi continued, "As is widely known, the Drucker divine clan has not been utterly annihilated. They are gradually reviving. In the near future, once the seals are broken, they will return to the physical world. The constraints the physical world imposed on ancient civilizations are weakening. Civilizations hostile to us, like the Wulwan Empire, will emerge one after another. If we fail to prepare in advance, Huashu Kingdom, indeed, all of human civilization, may be utterly devoured within 50 years. His tone held no exaggeration, yet it weighed heavily on their hearts. Guanlong Yue's expression shifted slightly, while Meng Yuanjun crossed his arms, his brow deeply furrowed. Xiao Liu remained silent for a moment before asking in a low voice, "Did the Dragon Clan tell you this?" Zhang Yi nodded. "Indeed." Fuxi spoke these words himself. The Dragon Clan fought the Drucker divine clan for hundreds of millions of years. They know what kind of enemy they are. Shang Daowen couldn't help but speak up, then. "Are the Dragon Clan willing to help us?" Zhang Yi's expression remained calm. "They will offer refuge at critical moments, but that is not something to rely on." Fuxi made it very clear, only humanity itself can save humanity. A brief silence fell over the assembly hall. Half a minute later, Han Shanzhua from the northeast region chuckled softly, his voice deep, "Ha! That means heaven hasn't abandoned us yet." Zhang Yi nodded slightly, "Exactly. That's why I've decided to open access to the spiritual meditation system left behind by the lunar civilization." With a wave of his hand, projections of hundreds of energy data files appeared before everyone. These were the meditation techniques granted to Zhang Yi by the Silver Moon Throne on the Moon. This system was a gift I received from the advanced lunar civilization during my journey to the moon. They possess a long history and have developed systematic cultivation methods specifically for mutants. This meditation technique allows supernatural beings to rapidly expand their mental domains, enhance their affinity with the ether, and shorten their advancement time. I have adapted it to align with human physiological structures. I authorize the research institutes and high command of the 6 major regions to implement this comprehensively. Effective immediately, all Epsilon tier and above ability users must undergo meditation training. Those below Epsilon tier will be selected by each region based on innate talent. Within 6 months, I expect to see a 15% increase in the nation's overall ability index. His voice was calm, yet it resonated like a great bell. The high-ranking officials from the 6 major regions could scarcely believe their ears. "Wait, you, Zhang Yi, That penny-pinching bastard who'd pluck every last feather off a passing goose. When did you become so generous? Zhang Yi's notorious reputation rendered the meeting hall deathly silent. Eyes darted from face to face, each suspecting some hidden scheme. Li Changgong, attending alongside the East Sea region, spoke first. You truly intend to release the lunar people's meditation techniques? Are you certain there are no adverse effects? Zhang Yi rolled his eyes. Resources can be hoarded, but meditation techniques cannot. Resources are never enough for everyone, but meditation empowers every individual. What I need isn't a handful of strong individuals, but an entire civilization capable of fighting. Though we've had healthy competition in the past, facing threats that seek to extinguish our entire race, we must unite. That is the wisest course. Chapter 2457, I only recognize you. 3. Zhang Yi was straightforward and had nothing to hide. Besides, with my current 50,000 point ability index, if I really wanted to scheme against you, would I need to go to such lengths? Don't bite the hand that feeds you. I shared the electronic document in the group chat. Download and check it yourselves. Learn it or not, your choice. Zhang Yi rolled his eyes, leaning back on the sofa as he sipped coffee and spoke lazily. It was rare for him to extend this favor to fellow countrymen, giving them a chance to grow stronger and serve as cannon fodder for him. Yet they still harbored suspicions. Zhang Yi truly felt little emotional attachment toward them. But human relationships were fundamentally exchanges of interests. Once they grew stronger, they could serve as cannon fodder or workhorses for Zhang Yi in future wars. Yet they also gained a chance at survival, a perfectly fair deal. Hearing Zhang Yi's ability index had surpassed 50,000 points, everyone fell speechless with astonishment. 50,000 points. You've reached Knight tier? Li Changgong leapt to his feet in shock. He had already broken through to 32,000 points, the White Bishop realm. This was thanks to the vast resources acquired during the campaign against the Wulwan Empire. He had been feeling quite pleased with himself, believing he was the second-tier powerhouse in Huashu Kingdom, surpassed only by Zhang Yi and Hotu. But now, what had he just heard? Zhang Yi, 50,000 points, nearly 20,000 points higher in combat power than him. Was this even human? Knight tier, equivalent to the Marshal Xinglu of the Wulwan Empire. A being capable of single-handedly crushing the entire Huashu Kingdom. Now, such a monster had emerged within Huashu. How could everyone not be shocked? Yet beyond the shock, there was more delight. Zhang Yi might have been a bit of a survivor, but he rarely initiated conflict. Out of consideration for his fellow countrymen, he could still protect them when trouble arose. Thus, while envy lingered, this was ultimately a blessing. Li Changgong sat down, his eyes unfocused. The gaze he fixed on Zhang Yi brimmed with envy and admiration, yet he dared not harbor hatred. The others looked at Zhang Yi with even greater reverence. When your strength slightly surpasses those around you, they envy you. But when you grow to heights they can never reach, they look up to you. Han Shanzhua placed his hands on the table, frowned, and said earnestly, I think Brother Chaos makes a good point. His opinion is my opinion. Who agrees? Who disagrees? The others shot Han Shanzhua sidelong glances, their eyes practically spitting venom. You're such a bootlicker, what business is it of yours? Zhu Jing smiled faintly. As you all know, Chaos and I have always been as one, as close as two sides of the same coin. So whatever he says represents me, and the will of the entire Jiangnan region. Flattery and praise poured in thick and fast. Who dared be ungrateful now? Zhang Yi rubbed his fingers. In short, this lunar meditation technique will benefit you all. Study it diligently. How you apply it is your business, I just want to see results. And don't come crawling to me for help every time trouble arises. The crowd nodded, their curiosity piqued by this so-called lunar meditation technique. Xiao Liu immediately downloaded a copy and skimmed through it. Lord Chaos, could you tell me how to use this thing? Once I learn it, can I just smash my enemies to bits? Zhang Yi chuckled. Whether you can smash them depends on whether you can quiet your mind. Without a sound mind, you'll likely lose control on day one. The room erupted in laughter, temporarily easing the tense atmosphere. Yet Jugo from the southwest region clasped his hands in reverence and solemnly declared, if this method truly connects to the sea of spiritual essence, it transcends the cycle of reincarnation. The Buddhist faith should study it. Luozhua nodded in agreement. If it can enhance overall spiritual energy, our Tantra sect is willing to promote gifted mutants and spread it among them. Zhang Yi nodded, speaking calmly, very well. The sooner, the better. He finally surveyed the entire hall, his tone becoming steady and resolute. Everyone, the next 30 years will be the most perilous time for human civilization. Be it Drucker or those ancient civilizations harboring malice toward us, they are genuine predators. They will not reason with us, sign treaties, or show mercy. Our only path is to transform the Huashu kingdom into a civilization that even the divine races fear before they return. I implore you to remember this firmly. From this moment onward, the war has begun. The war has begun. These words reverberated like the sound of war drums, shaking the heart of every person present. As the words fell, all the projections rose simultaneously. The commanders and supernatural beings of the 6 major regions responded in unison, understood. We shall carry out Lord Chaos's orders. Zhang Yi nodded, satisfied with their resolve. His gaze remained cool and unwavering. He knew this was merely the prelude. He couldn't control how far the 6 major regions' mutants would advance. Offering guidance and meditation techniques was the limit of his willingness. The true storm was drawing near. From now on, he would focus most of his time on Tianhai City and himself. That evening, after the meeting concluded. As night fell, warm light radiated from Zhang Yi's villa in Tianhai City. Snowlight glistened on the thick glass panes outside, while inside, a soothing, gentle atmosphere pervaded the space. Zhang Yi sat at the center of the living room, a tea set and a spirit energy projection lamp placed on the long table before him. The faint blue glow bathed everyone's faces in a serene hue. The sofa was filled with familiar figures, Yang Xinqin, Lu Karen, Fatty Su, Flower. Even by Li Changqing, Deng Shintong, and several source combatants who had fought alongside Zhang Yi through life and death battles were present. All eyes were quietly fixed on Zhang Yi, awaiting his words. Zhang Yi lifted his head, his gaze sweeping over each face. His voice was steady yet carried undeniable authority. Starting today, I will comprehensively enhance Tianhai City's overall combat capability. The group stiffened. Zhang Yi continued, a new storm is brewing across the entire world. Our enemies are no longer merely alien races or remnants of civilizations on Earth. They are threats originating from higher dimensions. I have already mobilized Huashu Kingdom. But Tianhai City is my foundation. You are all family and comrades who have followed me for years, the ones I care about most. We must become strong enough to protect ourselves against any threat. He lifted his teacup, sipped lightly, and smiled faintly. These past years, my power has grown too rapidly. In just 5 short years, I've traversed paths that many ancient superbeings couldn't complete in centuries, or even lifetimes. This also means I need time to consolidate, and during this period, I've decided to properly cultivate you all.